Alright, good morning guys. I'm here to demonstrate how to put together and draw your name logo design, your objective minimalist design. So really quick, what you'll need for this project is a sheet of paper, or if you're doing it digitally, you can just have a blank sheet on your iPad or whatever you're working on, and then a ruler or a straight edge of some sort. If you don't have a ruler at home, even using an envelope works just fine, or another sheet of paper. And obviously a pencil. So to start, I suggested in the steps to make a square box to work in first. If you have sticky notes at home, these sizes are great. It's 3 inches by 3 inches. Otherwise, you can just kind of guesstimate a size box. You can always go smaller, or you could always work bigger as well if you would like. But first step is to draw a box to work in. Next, I like to write out my name below it so that I know exactly what letters I need to make sure are in my design. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have my designs here, and actually I have 2 different versions of my name that I created. So I have this one, which is the one that you guys have seen online with the steps, and then this was actually my first one, but I didn't enjoy it as much. I didn't think that you could see the R and other elements. So don't think that there's just one way to create your name or this design. There's multiple different ways that you can do it, and then I made one also for my last name with color. So again, to start, you're drawing a square, writing your name, and then we're going to start with our first letter of our first name. Reminder, you should be using your first name or a nickname of yourself, but you should not be using someone else's name whatsoever. So I'm going to start by kind of figuring out where I want my K to go. So I'm going to do it down the center. I'm making my side of my K here, and then the 2 angles of my K are going to go out to the corner. Now I could have had it start on the left hand side if I wanted to, but I wanted to do it down the center. And again, there's no right way to do this, so you're kind of just playing around with your design. You can make multiple different versions of your name if you would like, especially making them symmetrical or the same on both sides looks really, really cool. But if you have some weird elements like R's, you can't really do it symmetrical and stuff like that. Then with the I, I'm going to leave the side of my K as my I, and then my E, I'm going to put on my left side here. So it's not even that you want to fill the whole entire box either, but if you can use more of the edges to kind of create a cohesive design, the better. I also forgot to mention, with your first letter, you should try to hit at least 2 to 3 of the sides. So it shouldn't just be one side, unless your first name starts with an I. Then obviously it can just be one side. And then the middle of my E, I'm going to make it go right to the middle point of my K. So as you can see, I'm kind of lining things up. My E didn't go all the way across, so it wasn't extending the whole way through. It just stopped right at the K. So I have my K, I have my I have my E. Now with my R, you also want to look at the elements of each letter. So if I have a diagonal part in some of my letters, and I have a diagonal part already in another letter, I'm going to save that and overlap it. The key is to overlapping letters on top of each other so that you're not making it all crazy. So say this is how I started my K, and then I put my I in the center, and then my E came from there, and then my R just, it kind of looks jumbled up and you can't really see the letters. That's what makes this and also a minimalistic design, right? We talked about minimalism and how it's simple. It's to the point, you know exactly what you're looking at, and it's not too chaotic. There's spaces, there's negative and positive space, so that's why this looks chaotic. We don't want to do something like that. We want to try to overlap letters. So I'm going to put my R right over the top of my K and use that same angle of my K. So with your curved edges, you might not obviously need a ruler because that's for straight edges. So just go ahead and pencil in as best as you can your curved out letters. Alright, and since I have 2 R's, I could have the option and draw another one somewhere else, or just leave it there. and people can make the connection that I have 2 R's in my name. Okay, and then it would come down here, and I use the other edge of my K as well. And then lastly, so I made 2 different versions of mine as well. So this is the one that you see online. I drew a line straight diagonal going down, and my A was wide down there. For this one, I'm actually going to change it up, and I'm just going to make a straight line going across in this bottom part of my K and my R, and make that bottom part my A as well, so you can see this kind of slanted A. So the last part, once you have all your letters on your box, you're going to go ahead and erase any excess of the square, the first square that you drew, so that you can see your whole entire design. So I didn't use that bottom part or the right side. And then go back in and darken your lines. You can go ahead and add color. Color is not a mandatory thing to do, but if you want to add color to kind of show the different letters a little bit easier, you can absolutely go ahead and do that. But go over your letters again and bold it, make them a little thicker with your pencil, and voila, you've got your design. If you have a lot of curved letters and you're not sure how to do that or how to arrange them, please, please, please ask. And this is what I mean by symmetrical. So I did Miss Imes. So as you can see, there's an I, and then we have the H on the outer edges of the square that I originally drew, and then the M. So that's another thing too. If you have like an M or a W in your name or even an N, you want to try to hit as many sides as possible to kind of complete this cohesion. You don't want to stop in the middle. I mean, you absolutely could have if you wanted to, but you don't want to stop at a random point. Like if I stop the M here, we should have stopped it at like another conjoining point, if that makes sense. So your letters should try to overlap as much as possible. And then this is the colored version of my last name. So you can see, the T here is in the blue, my E is in the green, and then I have my N's in the light green, and then my I is in purple, and then again the E again, and then the S on the other side. Okay, if you guys have questions, please reach out, or if you're not sure how to design yours, please reach out to me for help, and I look forward to seeing your awesome logo designs.